So I have this notebook that I've put together. I'll be using it to keep track of all of the notes that I have from different xTool projects. If I'm cutting my own material, or if I just need to make some slight adjustments on their preset settings, I won't have to do all that testing or try to remember from last time. I can just look up in here what worked. I'm going to walk you through the process in Creative Space on how to build your notebook cover, how to use the different functions, and then send it to the machine. So let's get started. I'm going to upload the SVG for the notebook cover. Go ahead and select everything and make sure that it's a cut line, and just double check that everything is grouped together. Then copy and paste so that you have a front cover and a back cover. I'm going to add some text to the front of my cover. Go ahead and put whatever text you want on the front, change it to the fonts that you like. For the words settings and remember, I'm using the Babus font. And then for the word to in the middle, I'm going to use Bentosa. These are fonts that I have installed on my computer, so that's why they show up here. I have my words set to engrave, and then I'm just going to adjust the sizes a little bit, align them to the center. Then I can bring them over to the notebook cover, and I can work on placement for where I want that to go. And then I want to put a flower, a large engraved flower, down on this bottom front corner. So if you're doing a similar type of design, you can find a flower SVG that you like, or if you do some doodling of your own, then draw your own file and bring it in. I'm going to draw a couple of rectangles to basically just delete or erase out some of the overhang from this flower design. That way I can scoot the back cover over a little closer and use less material. All right, when I hit refresh over here, it's going to reconnect with my machine and show me the picture of what the wood placement is inside the xTool. And then I also decided I'm going to actually put my logo design on the back of this notebook. So if you'll notice here, I did a mirror of the back cover so that when it's flipped around and bound together, this will actually be on the very back. So I'll bring that down to the bottom of the cover and then line it up so that it's in the center of that back cover piece. I'm going to make this one be a score line. Giving it a score function shows more of the detail than making it engrave. Okay, and then with everything zoomed out a little bit, I'm going to rotate these just a little bit so that it lines up better with the grain of the wood. So I'll do that with the back cover and the front cover. Just a little bit of rotation, and then that grain will seem more straight up and down on the cut pieces. When everything is where I want it, then I can fix up all of the settings over here. I'm using the xTool Walnut plywood, and so I'm just going to use their settings, and then we can hit process. Hit the start button, and then push the button on the machine. All right, and then it's going to do the engraving first. Then the score lines where I have my logo on the back. Then it'll do the cutting passes. And I noticed that the engraving wasn't as dark as I wanted. So I actually set it to do a second engraving. So what I did was, back in the design program, back in Creative Space, I deleted my logo, I deleted the notebook cover outlines, and so then I just had the words and the flower on the front for engraving, and I sent it to engrave again, and you can see it's giving a much darker engraving and looks a lot better than when I first looked at it. All right, so then you can take the two covers out. I had one little spot here that was just a little bit stuck, but it popped right out. You can make sure all the little spaces for the binding have come out. Okay, so then I took these out in the garage. You can see there's a little bit of burn and smoke marks there. And so I'm just doing a sanding with 320 and just to get some of that dark color off of those edges. You can do that with an orbital sander like this or just a piece of sandpaper in your hand. And then this is what it looks like when they've been sanded. And now I'm going to do 3 coats of a spray acrylic. Wait about 10 minutes between the first 2 coats. Then after the second coat has dried some, you can give it a super light sanding and give it a 3rd coat to finish it off. Okay, so what do you think? Do you want to make your own now? Do you want to make a bunch for gifts? They are perfect because they're totally customizable. So I'm really pleased with how this worked out. If you have any questions about it, please let me know. And if you have any projects that you want me to try out with the xTool M1 to see how it goes, to see if you want to try and do it, if you've got questions, let me know. And then make sure you subscribe to the channel so you catch all the future videos. I'll see you next time. Bye.